Good morning, everybody. It's Kevin. Today is Thursday, the 28th of January, 2021. This is your morning message and meditation. I'm excited to be here and thank you so much for joining me. Those of you that are on live and those of you that catch the Bree broadcast, thank you. Usually like to start by what's going on and what's happening and what's not happening. Yesterday I got word that the new salon space we're having more inspections done. I don't know what exactly they're inspecting, but if they pass, we get to move tomorrow. If they don't pass, well, I don't know. And I learn that it's all good. Pass or fail, it's all good. No, I don't know if I like that word fail. I like pass or don't pass. Yeah, I always think that the don't pass means more work to do or move on. One of the two. Anyway, let's see what I do yesterday. Had the people come over to look at the fence, and then I went to do a little bit of hair. It was a busy but productive day yesterday. I did catch a couple of YouTubes about transmitting vibrational energy. It struck me as, we talk about raising your vibration, right? Raising it, lowering it, raising it, lowering it. But nobody pass or pause. Mallory, yes. Pass or pause. I like that. Yeah. Pause for thought and think. I like that. Putting space in the reaction to it. Thank you. So vibrational energy, and then I saw something about how if we are all somewhat vibrational, and the concept is we're bigger, greater than these sack of bags and bones and body, but that's what we know physically. And then as I'm thinking and pondering and listening to some more, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I find things and listen to things, especially inspirational stuff, I get bits like cliff notes of it. I get like a line or a paragraph or a piece. It sticks. And the piece that sticked was very much in alignment with Marianne Williamson, who proclaimed, what are we if we're not thinking of ourselves as being greater than inside a body of bones and skin and physical matter. And so there's a concept that most New Age have. I have it, that we are much bigger than this, all of this. And what I like to do for myself is to bring that bigger concept, like how do I get that, how do I understand that, when if New Age folks are saying we're only limited by this body, right, which is pretty awesome, well then how do you get to the big, what's that about? And what struck me is, oddly enough, nobody really wants to die, right? Nobody wants to get up out of this body and leave. Yet, when they do, those of us who have come back from that say, it's an amazing and incredible, and I got goosebumps, so that I know the spirits are here. It's an amazing and incredible feeling. So I was listening more to the podcast, downloading this information about the higher vibration and lifting the vibration, and looking for and listening to something greater, something bigger. And the whole while I'm in this limiting feeling, like the doubt and the reaction and how does that even work, and the confusion of all of it. And all the information was coming. It was just reeling and coming. Like people say when they're writing, I'm sure you've had an experience when you're either writing a story, telling a story, you've got to get all of this out, and you feel like there's not enough time. I've got to tell you more. I've got to tell you more. I've got to tell you more. Either you're typing, you're writing, and it's just gushing. That's the greater peace. That's the access to the huge thing, to something that we're just not paying attention to. And the more work we do, the light work, and it's work of undoing all that's been done. Can't say it's wrong, because if we aren't in the process of undoing what's been done, if we didn't get to that point, we wouldn't be here doing this. And there's a point with which most people hear this term, the awakening, or wake up. And I think the new way of saying it is woke. Somebody is woke, whatever that means. But still, it is a realization that there is, we are bigger. We are greater. We do have more at stake, more opportunity, more availability. And very few people get it. Yesterday, in the news, the mayor of Paris, a woman, was fined by the French government because she hired a bunch of women for high-level political posts. And the woman gladly went to whatever ministry they have, I guess their parliament, and was willing to pay the equivalent of $100,000, this fine, because she basically was pointing out that this has been going on forever. And it's quite interesting. It was an interesting fact that I'm all about equality for everybody. It doesn't matter who, man, woman, all of it. I mean, I myself was victimized for being an openly gay man when I was like, well, what's the big deal? And that's the other point. As I grew up, more people were judging me and bullying me and making me out to be some kind of pariah, including the church. I don't want to get on my religious soapbox, because religion, the practice of, is a habit. It's a habit. It's things people do. It's places people go. And there's a book. I like to call it the Guidebook of Life, that in the Western world is commonly known as the Bible. And there are stories in there which are either inspirational or they're not. And you can either live by them and learn from them or not, period. There are some rather nice psalms, which to be is colourful poetry. There's also other books out there that are similar. They follow a religious way of thinking, way of being. And I like to believe that the divine, which we call that divine energy, is part of everything, the bigger thing. When I was a teenager, I went along to a pastor's house and his wife, who wanted to start a youth group. In this one particular evening, we were sitting in the living room, and I won't ever forget it, because I can remember who was in the room. There's about 4 or 5 of us in there. We couldn't have been any more than 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. And they asked if we had ever, invited God into our heart and our life and all the rest of it. And I had to sit back, because I thought that's what christening was about in the Church of England. Before a child is a year old, they get christened by the local preacher and vicar, pastor, whatever you want to call them. And then at 11, 12, 13, there's a confirmation where there's a series of classes with the same reverend, if you will, to invite you into the adult church. And there's a ceremony and there's this confirmation, you get gifts and all this. I think they do it in the Catholic Church too. I don't know about other religions. I don't know what the rite of passage, if you're Muslim or if you're a Hindu or if you're Buddhist. And Buddhist is all about, love for everybody, common respect. So as I was in this room with this man and followed this, and his wife followed this prayer to let in the light and accept it, I was kind of reminded, or then, that there are some religious groups that think that to be gay or enjoy love or relationship with same sex is an abomination and something is cruel and wrong about it. So most of my life, one of the biggest misconceptions I had is that people who are part of a church, part of a big organizational church, don't, that it's a bit like a double standard. And I tend to not go for that reason. I find myself thinking, well, if we have divine inspiration, if we have the light of the divine working in us, through us, this big light of ours, and the bigger point is, if you believe that God created you in his likeness, like they talk about Jesus, well, then they must be creating a little bit of difference for everybody. Like, it's all different. You can't just say there's just one size fits all, because we're all different. We've all got different DNA. So something struck me about all of this raising the vibration and being bigger, and then looking at how a few people, like I'm reminded of this fabulous young woman who wrote a poem for the inauguration, and I can't remember the title of it, but it was phenomenal. And she's now being invited to honor the heroes at the Super Bowl. She's going to write a poem for, I want to say it has to do with the frontline workers or some heroic folks that are being honored at the Super Bowl, which I think is fantastic. These are the things that make us collectively greater and bigger and more expansive than we've ever been. A few people that will stand up and be okay with who they are and what they are and what they're doing. Now, I'm not saying I'm getting on a soapbox for, rights and all the rest of it. That's already been taken care of. The point is, the limiting beliefs that we have are just that, they're limiting. So if you aren't behind what it is in your big human life that you're about, and that you get the chance to use all of this physicalness, the power of speech, the power of physical action, and you dig down deep into that energy that pushes you up, that feeling you get when you can't stop, it's just gushing inspiration, you get inspired, you get empowered, and then you go and you do it. Whatever that is, standing in front of a colossal amount of people, shaking in your boots, but you've got to get a message out. You've got to do what you've got to do. And that power, that great power, that greatness that's in you is so much greater than the fear you have of, whether that's called pause, or the fear that you have that something's not working. To know that it's not meant to work, you're meant to keep going, keep moving on. And I was reminded this morning when I pulled these cards about a book I read, and I still have it. I have it because you can't find it. It's very rare. You can find it, but I don't know if they still print it. And it's The God Memorandum by Og Mandino. I think I've had this book. It's published by, now there's a spirit coming in to talk, or at least to be here. It's published by Lifetime Books. Probably what I should do, if any of you are interested in it, is see if I can put that ISB number on there. I don't even know if you could even find that anymore. Anyway, the God Memorandum by Og Mandino. It's a small little book. Oh, look here, somebody wrote. Well, this will tell you how long I've had this. 1999. This was Rusty Reynolds. Wow. It's an incredible book. The whole premise is to read this about 100 pages. It's a quick book. It's like 100-day calendar. You read this every day. It says to you from God. You read it every day. Like for instance, the first page, page 41, says it's not going to take long. It didn't take me long to do it. You do it for 100 days. It will change. It was a big shift and a change for me. Take counsel, I hear your cry. It passes through the darkness, filters through the clouds, mingles with the starlight, and finds its way to my heart on the path of a sunbeam. I have anguished over the cry of a hare, choked in the noose of a snare, a sparrow tumbled from the nest of its mother, a child thrashing helplessly in the pond, and a son shedding his blood on the cross. No, I hear you. Also, be at peace, be calm. So all of these things, oh, and here comes all these goosebumps, my hair standing on end. All of these things that we are experiencing right now in our world, in our culture, run with it, flow with it, go with it, but no, you're not on your own. If you keep sight of the bigger picture, if you keep sight of the greater good of everybody, of all mankind, and you keep sight of standing with your brothers and sisters and everybody else who's on the planet for something better to happen, which if you're on this, you've got to be up for it, then know that there's a power with you, within you, out you, and with all these other people that are holding hands. I'm sort of reminded of 1973, for those of you who are old enough. Coca-Cola released a song. I'd like to teach the world to sing is all I can think of, and all I remember is a woman with this long flowy hair walking up basically a hillside, and as the camera pans out, so she's shown with all these other people. It was very hippy dippy, which I'm all into, and they're holding hands. And then, of course, the camera goes up and takes a big shot from above, and there's just a load of people coming together for the common good. And this was basically advertising Coca-Cola, which we all know is sugar water. But there you go. I digress. All right, on to the message and the cards. And here it is, which got me on this whole subject. Mother, Father, God, and the Rainbow Prince. So this first card, Mother, Father, God, is the energy of the earth, the sky, the angels. Every piece of angelic energy you can think of is working around you, through you, above you, below you, and everywhere you can think of. It's here and it's now, reminding you, us, through this card and this message, that none of us are on our own. None of us were here to perish. We're here for a bigger picture. And when you couple it with the Rainbow Prince, which is compensation and perseverance, it's saying dream big and dream huge. Because if you are of the mindset that your source energy, meaning you've got the ability to fire up rockets of desire, and I'm going to push pause on that a little bit. Rockets of desire, everything you send out there, your attitude, the way you feel about things, the things you say, all of that is a rocket of desire too. So if you're not sending out these big, huge asks, these big things that you'd like to have happen, but you're rather sending out the judgment, the limiting beliefs, the I'm not, I can't, I won't. I think I talked about that yesterday from the message in Melody Beattie's book. That's also a rocket of desire. You may as well be saying that's what you want. What you want, believe that you can have it. You just got to raise your vibration enough. And there's a term that Abraham uses through Esther Hicks. It's called earn with your attitude. You have to buy into what you want with the same energy. It has to line up. And when your energy lines up with what you want to get, receive, and give, you lift. When you get that lifting, you get that feeling, you get that, I can't stop, this is amazing. That's when everything's clicked into place. You know, when you get that feeling, you know that 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 you can't know anymore because you know it so much. That's when you know it's clicked in place. The contrasting pieces are the bits that you have to sort through, belief over disbelief. That contrasting stuff is there anyway. It is kind of the settling in phase of how it happens, and how things happen. When you have a big ask and you've got a big desire and you're putting up these rockets of desire, let them go. Think of them as helium balloons with your little note in there saying, this is what I want. This is what I'd like to have happen. And then do the juicy creative work in your mind, in your planning, just the way you would plan an outfit for an interview, just the way you would plan a room if you're going to rearrange it, the same way that you would get creative if you were planning a story that you were going to write. Those of you that are studying, whether you're a student, full-time student, part-time student, or just really studying a course, you have to put together a lesson plan, or you have to put together homework or a project. The same way that you will go about putting your project together, use that same creative process to put your big ask together. So once you ask for it, get specific about what it looks like, how it feels, and then let it go. Let go of the idea that you can't have it, because that's basically the limiting belief. That's the belief that somebody told you. That's what you learned. That it's not true. What is true is watching it happen. Mantra I use is, I love watching the universe make things happen for me. I just think it's amazing. And then be with that attitude of gratitude, grateful for the opportunity. Now, I'm not saying, we don't get worried and we don't get concerned, but the more you see things manifest and realize, the less and less and less concerned you become, because this way of asking and receiving and asking and receiving becomes second nature, and it's something that just flows. There is no feeling of, I can't have it, I don't have it, because you've known how to do it. I hope that makes sense. So, Mother, Father, God is with you always, working with you, through you, around you, to get you what you need. And the Rainbow Prince says, if you've been sitting in a rainstorm of worry, keep doing the work. Keep asking, leveling up your attitude of gratitude, and being led by divine inspiration of some sort. Okay. There. Good. All right. Let's read from this book. And we'll turn the page. The 28th of January. And the subject is, where you go, what interests you? It's easy to talk ourselves out of trying something new, then sit home whining that we're bored. It's just as easy and a lot more fun to find something interesting to do. Learn to make a basket out of pine needles. Try splunking. I have no idea what that is. Or take a tap dancing class. Learn to fly an airplane or carve a walking stick. Take lessons on that musical instrument you've always wanted to play. You can learn to braid your hair, write a poem, or even act in a play. Have you talked yourself out of doing activities you used to like to do? Is there something new you'd like to learn or explore? Something you've always thought you might like to do? Begin a journey of discovery. Find out what interests you. Don't limit your interest to activities connected just to work or spiritual growth. Opening up to a world and all it has to offer expands your creativity. Discovering what your interests are, then letting yourself pursue them, will become part of your spiritual path. Many are There are many magical things in the world and people happy to teach you how to do them. See, all there is to do, get out of your house and out of your rut and discover what interests you. I like that. I like that a lot. Now, that might get some flack because, you know, we're being told to stay in, to refrain from public gatherings. I think that's sage advice in times where we're uncertain. But the bigger part of that would be limit what you're doing, but go inward. Meditate. Sort through what it is you'd like to do when things begin to move forward. I refrain from using that word, move back to normal. Normal's a concept. Backwards, who goes backwards? We move forward to something new. And what does that new look like? What does that new present for you? What does that new have to offer? It's either going to be bigger than you ever thought you could get, which is what I'm up for, or not. All right, let's meditate. And get comfortable. Big breath in. Release out. Let your mind settle of your thoughts. Inhale. Exhale. Another breath in. Hold it at the top. Keep sifting air in, opening your lungs, your heart, your body, expanding your chest and upper back. Even more if there's room, because you know there is. And then with control, release. Start with your feet flat on the floor, thinking about your feet grounding into the earth that support you. Imagine the roots going down into the ground and attaching to the crust of the earth itself. Lift your consciousness and your mind up through the center part of your physical body, following your spine line. Use your awareness as if you are traveling along your spinal cord, your spinal fluid, and emanating light out from the center point of your physical body. Get a sense and a feeling that the energy and the vibration working within you is connected to a greater source above you, the ethers, way above the universe. with your eyes closed and a view between your eyebrows. Your own personal window to your soul. Continue with your breath. And start by seeing a rich blue light out in front of you, coming from you, above you and below you. This light is similar to the color of the night sky. Expand this light. See how it forms shadows. And just be with the experience of being part of this greater expansion of light, of energy. Be with the knowing, the understanding and the believing that the vibrational energy working within you and around you is this light. You are part of it. If you're seeing it, feeling it, you're a part of it. Now begin to form the subject of your desire. The situation or the thing that you have been asking for. For yourself. Begin the process of creating it in your mind. See your desire clearly. Place the same blue energy or whatever color energy you can through you, around you, through your desire, around your desire. Use this energy to create the feeling of having manifested your desire. Continue breathing in and out the same energy, same color. Generate a feeling within you that everything you want to have happen has already happened. Generate the feeling and the energy and the vibration of gratitude. Gently bring your mind, your consciousness to your environment where you are in the room you're in. Place your hands at prayer at heart center. Lift your thumb knuckles between your third eye center. Let's honor the world, each other, as we bow and say namaste. There might be some doubt in folks who, when they first start to do creative visualization or know that that energy is out there, that you attract it, you're magnetically drawing what you want to you, including the bad stuff, including the stuff that isn't so pleasant. That is, it's all or nothing. So if you find it challenging to get that concept, that, you know, like, for example, I might say, I'm a millionaire, I am financially secure, whatever that is, that I'm not currently, you know, because we don't ask for things we already have. We ask for things that seem challenging, especially when we're growing and we want to go a bit deeper and a bit further. The backside of it is the programming that says, well, no, and it's all linked to not deserving. So you have to get inside that and underneath that and take on the attitude of why in the world, who is anybody else, including myself, not to say I don't deserve it, or I shouldn't have it, or I can't have it. And it's all of that side, those rockets of those desires, is linked to guilt and shame. And the guilt and shame comes from other programming. Guilt and shame, yes, you know you've done something intentionally that did cause harm or hurt, typically to yourself, then that's got to be resolved and that's got to be reconciled. But if it's something that you believed or you bought into somebody else's, then that's not on you. It's nothing to do with you. That's on them, has all to do with them. And what I was getting to with how I learned to realize that you can manifest whatever you want is by remembering when it had happened before, when what I had pictured, visualized, said I wanted occurred, and it occurred in ways I wasn't expecting, particularly when you release the tight grip on it, you release the control of it not happening. Because typically what happens in my own experience, I want it so badly, I'm gripping a hold tight that it's not happening. And the not happening is so common, that's the energy that's out there. So you block it, you've got stuck, you sat in the middle of the road because the universe can't bring you anything and let it flow unless you're open and the gates of desire are open. But the most important thing is you've lifted your vibration. You are earning with your attitude of gratitude, of love, of yes, of that feeling of, oh, I can't stand it, I'm going to go get it, it's coming, I've just got the approval letter, whatever that is. I'm using this, and that feeling, that giddiness, that, oh, Christmas morning and there's the package all wrapped up and you know what's inside it and you can't stand it, you've got to go open it. When you know in your previous experience that that's happened, that's the energy you want to buy into. All right, my friends, thanks so much for listening to me. We will see each other tomorrow morning. I'll have more news. Bye.